feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everyone, we're in our Boston Shrimp Tank studios today where we just were able to interview Insperity with Alina Ritter and John Kelly today. And I'm really confident that our listeners are going to want to listen to you for the work that you do in the HR strategic space. And one of the things that our listeners and our entrepreneurs and our business owners ask about a lot is the problem in the HR space and how to grow their companies with those challenges and the expertise. And we kind of kidded around a little bit about Harvey Weinstein and his problems as an example, probably a bad example, but it's topical. But I found it really interesting, you know, as you run a company as an entrepreneur, anyone that's dealing with those adversities or the difficulty, let's talk a little bit about what your firm does. And I would like to point out to our listeners that they are the global leader in this space. So it's not a small fly-by-night type of company. They're literally in the trenches with small business, and there's so much to learn from that. But maybe, John, you could just talk about what Insperity does.
Yeah, essentially, thank you so much. And essentially, we've, again, grown organically. We've been around for 33 years. We're a $4 billion company, went public in 1997, and we've been, I feel, is the nation's leader in terms of providing strategic human capital management guidance to small and mid-sized businesses, helping them attract and retain their top talent, control and contain some of the large line items like health insurance and workers' comp, and then providing, you know, subject matter expertise in the areas of compliance, local, state, and federal rules, regulations, and pairing that with a strategic service team so that they are able to focus on growing the business and not working in the business. And I think that that's a huge differentiator that we can bring to the table, because to your point, Mark, if you have employees, you know the challenges of having them, whether it's the tactical elements of managing them or the strategic elements or terminations or onboarding or you name it. So the service delivery that we provide really helps organizations offload some of those burdens to a subject matter expert and allows them to really grow the business forward. And that's really where we're having strategic conversations with business owners day in and day out, really to understand what's gotten them to this point as an organization. What's on the forefront? What are they looking to do? What are they looking to grow? And how can we be, you know, a resource to them in this function of the business?
Yeah, John, one of the things you mentioned I thought listeners would appreciate, because they're able to go into so many companies and they're able to see the successful companies and probably the ones that aren't or won't make it. But you mentioned something real briefly about walking into a location or office and how the company's set up, which what I heard was that you normally look for a company that cares about their employees. Can you maybe just touch on that real quickly?
No, certainly. Your employees are, if you're a small business owner, they are your asset, they're your lifeblood. And when we walk into a small business, whether that's on the 15th floor of a high-rise downtown Boston or in an office park outside of the city, you walk into the office and the first thing that you will look at is, okay, what is this business, what is the feel of this small business? What is the culture like? And if the paint's chipping off the wall and the door's off the hinge and there's no one at the front desk, you can almost get a sense for how the employees view the workplace, how the employer handles the employees. You almost kind of get a sense of the environment you're walking into. And then on the flip side, if you walk in and there's a great energy, there's a great environment, people are buzzing around, there's snacks in the office, people are at the water cooler laughing, they're having fun, they're playing ping pong. You know that the executive team cares about their employees, really care about their culture. And I think that that's such an important aspect of having your employees, is making sure that they're understood, they're valued, they're productive, they're engaged. And a lot of our prospective clients utilize Insperity to help them put together processes, procedures, and best practices to get to that point so that they're able to be the employer that everybody wants to work at, the best places to work, the hot
those lists, right?
Those lists, because
that's
where you want it. And I think the culture and the employee engagement really play into that a little bit. And our organization can really help provide some subject matter strategic expertise.
And it's such a, like, those top 10 lists are the best ways that oftentimes, or just employee surveys of how they can attract and retain like high quality people because we're in a tight labor market. Alina, I wanted to ask you for our listeners, one of the things that I thought was really cool about your company, and I know I've experienced it running companies, is how Insperity is able to use their I call it clout, if you will, but because you're able to aggregate all these really various companies where I'm not a two-person company going to go to United Healthcare, for example, or my insurance or whatever. I thought, running a business, like that's a huge obstacle for smaller businesses to like try to go after do all that stuff without scale. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So with our co-employment model, we are United Healthcare's one of their biggest customers. So with the pool of people we have, we aggregate those people and we go directly to the market, and we are able to have significant cost savings with health insurance, which helps businesses attract and retain top talent, which is really important right now with such a low unemployment rate.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So for our listeners, just if you could tell everyone what is the best way to get a hold of you and Insperity? Is it email? Is it a website?
Yeah, certainly. So our website is www.insperity.com. We have offices all across the country. We're registered in every single state. We have over 80 offices across the country, ranging from New England all the way across the country, down in Houston, Texas, where we were founded, and all the way down into Florida on the East Coast as well too. So all across the country, national footprint. I really empower you to go check on our website, look at the different solution models that we offer, and if you're interested, there's an area at the bottom of the website where you can fill out your personal information for a consultation where we would reach out to you and have a conversation. Personally, my name is John Kelly, John, John.Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y @insperity.com, and we can kind of post this as well too to reach out to you.
Yes, it'll be at the bottom of the link. And I would like to remind everyone that you can find this episode, past episodes on shrimptankpodcast.com/Boston. All these shows are available on Apple, Google Chrome, and nationally syndicated through iHeart. So again, thanks for coming, and
Thank you so
hopefully
much.
have you back someday.
Thanks for having us. I really
us.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
Mark.
Thank you.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.